Good morning YouTube friends, my name's Jackie. Welcome to Gone Potty Gardening. Today is Wednesday the 17th of March and it is of course St Patrick's Day here in Ireland. So to all our Irish subscribers, happy St Patrick's Day. And of course it's a bit sad they can't celebrate like normal, you know, but there will be good times ahead, won't there? Anyway, today I'm going to be planting some potatoes. In previous years, like 2019, I planted potatoes in bags. In 2020, I wanted to experiment and plant them in the ground. I'll pop a couple of videos in so you can see now. These are the potatoes. These are enormous, honestly. Obviously, this first bit here is first earlies, the middle second earlies, and the last one is main crop. But I noticed this morning that there's a first little flower on there. But the actual growth in the bag was taller than the bag on top. Amazing. So this year, in 2021, I'm going back to the bags. There's advantages and disadvantages from growing in bags and to growing in the ground. I like the bags because they're easier to harvest, the potatoes, they're cleaner. You know, there is the thing that you have to watch the watering of the potatoes in the bags, whereas if they're in the ground, the kind of elements and the weather do it for you. So yeah, there's lots of arguments for and against, and of course some people just love growing potatoes in the ground or in raised beds. But this year I'm going to go for potatoes in bags. The variety that I'll be growing this year are Duke of York. These potatoes are a first early potato, so if I plant them now, probably middle of May I'll be able to harvest. These are a yellow waxy potato, and if you do leave them longer they become a general purpose potato, but apparently quite flowery. So yeah, it's up to you when you harvest them. Leave them longer to get bigger or use them when they're small. Now these are the sacks that I use. These are available online. We got them from a place called Quick Crop in Ireland. They have holes underneath and also handles, and they're very strong. I mean, this is the obviously we didn't grow them last year in the bags, but I mean this is our third year with them, and they're very strong. And of course, you know, the water can get out through the bottom through the holes. So because we'll be growing in bags, we'll be earthing up in the bags really. So I've got a bag that I've already rolled the sides down, because what I'll do is gradually, as I add more soil, unroll the bag at the side and keep topping it up. You know, for purposes of the video, I've got one rolled down, so it's easier for me to show you. So these bags again are quite big. Now they hold you could probably get about 50 litres of soil in there, so it's quite a lot, isn't it? Most people use a 30 litre 35 litre bucket to grow them in, so I shall be putting a couple more extra seed potatoes in these because there's plenty of room for them to grow. Now the soil that we got delivered a few weeks ago is lovely soil. Now it's organic soil. It already has good nutrients added for a whole growing season, but I'm going to add a bit of my own general purpose fertiliser for the potatoes as well. So I'll add that into the bag as we plant. So let's get planting. Now I actually left these out in the polytunnel, and yeah, they've chitted quite nicely, look. So that's a 2 kilogram bag. So let's see how many potatoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Roughly 32 potatoes to plant. So yeah, let's get on with it. So I'm going to put a pair of gloves on. Yeah, I'll keep banging on about this soil, but it's lovely. Look, it's really nice. It's got it's weed free, so it's been sifted, and it's got tiny little particles of grit for good drainage, and also organic. But what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description for anybody that's interested in the you know, where we got that from and stuff like that. So yeah, so I've got a bag already done. Well, not done, but you know, thing is. So I'm just gonna put some compost in the bottom, well, soil. And I'll probably do 2 layers of this, because as you probably know, the potato sprouts grow upwards, so you don't need a lot to start with. And I'm going to put a general fertiliser in the bottom, and I'll give it a little bit of a mix. These bags have actually got holes around the edges at the bottom as well, so they're really great for drainage. And but I mean, of course, you can use your own bags. You can use animal feed bags, put holes in, but when you use a plastic, and you know, the heat draws from the plastic. The heat it's more, plastic retains the heat more, and you probably need to water them more. So yeah, so that's my first layer, and I think I'm going to put 3 of these in the bottom with chips upwards. And then I'll cover those and add a bit more compost. And I have to put like a bit of tape around the bag so that I know what potatoes they are. Of course, as well, when you're growing in bags, you're using a lot more soil. So I'll actually be putting about 6 seed potatoes in here, whereas usually in a normal 35 litre bucket or something, you'd put probably 3. But because these are big bags, I will put 6 seed potatoes in each one. So that's enough to cover the ones that I've just put in. So I'll sprinkle a bit more fertiliser on the top now. Just roughly mix it in. Just put a little tiny bit more on them. I can see the tops of them. Sprinkle a bit more. and I should do them kind of in between the ones I've already done. So they'll be fine. Yep, and I'll just top the bag up and give it a label. Let's move it a little bit. Now these can get quite heavy. And what I will do with these potatoes, I will keep them in the polytunnel and top them up as they come through. Now you could keep the bags outside, but you'd have to watch the frost. I mean, we're not, they say never cast a clout till May's out, don't they? So I've been caught out before like that a little bit. Even though I've covered them, the frost has still caught them a bit. I mean, they do recover, but it's better if you can avoid that really, because it must do some damage to them, you know. So yeah, these first earlies I'll be keeping in the polytunnel and watering them in here. And I can always lift them out, you know, once the frost is all gone and there's no chance of another frost. And yeah, so that's what I'll probably do. So with the bags, for anybody that's never, I'm sure you've all grown potatoes before, but if you haven't, you just plant them like that, and then as soon as you see the leaves come up, you have to top them with soil to cover them, and keep doing that, you know, until they get right to the top of the bag, and then you have to wait until, of course, they flower, and then they die back till the leaves are brown, and then they're ready to harvest. Now, first earlies, I've planted them today, St Patrick's Day, the 17th of March. So we're April, May, probably in the middle to the end of May, maybe they'll be ready to harvest. So today I'm going to carry on doing the first early potatoes, the ones I've got, set them up here in the polytunnel, give them a water, and that's a good job done. Now, I don't have any second earlies this year. I'm going to give them a miss and just plant main crop. Now, because of the frost last year and things like that, I'm going to hang on a little bit longer before I put my main potatoes in, probably to the end of, what are we now, March. I'll probably wait until the third week of April before I plant the main potatoes, the main crop, and then we can be sure they'll be okay outside when they do start coming through, and I won't have to worry about any frost. So I shall get on and get all these planted and set about the polytunnel, and then I'll be back with you in a minute because there's another challenge, a potato challenge. Now, this potato challenge is from Erica at Erica's Little Welsh Garden. I'll leave a channel link in the description if you're not already following Erica on her little journey in Wales. Yeah, it's to grow 1.5 kilograms of shop bought potatoes, and you know, see at the end from all different YouTubers all across YouTube who has the best harvest. Obviously there's no prize, it's just a bit of fun really. So I've chosen some organic potatoes. We love them, they're really lovely, like soft inside, you know, when you roast or anything. So the potatoes for the potato challenge, I'm going to plant in the bags now with the compost that we got delivered, but also add some multi-purpose fertilizer. The compost, or the soil that I've just taken out of the big builder bags, is quite damp, so I won't be watering them after. But so I'm going to be sowing now the potatoes for 2021 potato challenge. As I said before, the bags that hold these potatoes hold a lot of compost, probably about 50 litres, maybe a little bit more. So I will be planting more potatoes in a bag that generally you might do if you were doing it in a bucket. So let's get on with it. So let's get some of the compost in there first. Chuck a load in the bottom, just to cover the bottom a bit. That should be fine. Spread out a bit so it makes the bag have its shape. Stick some fertiliser in, give it a mix. A little bit more than that actually. And now I'll be planting the seed potatoes. Now I'll probably do, let's see, 3 on the bottom and 3 on the top. So now I'm going to cover them. So I reckon mine's just under 1.5. It's probably about 1.35. So that's all right though. It's a bit of fun, isn't it, at the end of the day? And I'll put another 3 potatoes on the top now. Bit more fertiliser on the second layer. And I'll plant 3 more kind of away, well that's a bit away from the one that I've already put in there. 1, 2, do one over here, 3. And yeah, so I just got to fill that up. Like I say, I won't be watering this because the soil is very damp. But you will have to keep your eye on any potatoes that you grow in bags. Generally what I do is I put a stick in. If the soil sticks to it, I know it's wet enough. If it doesn't, it needs watering. Yep, so all a case of it is now is waiting to see them peep through and then just keep topping it up with soil until you get right to the top. So there you go, so that's one bag. I'll get on and do the other and I'll show you when I'm finished. With the bags, I think I'm going to use a bit of string. If I can find my scissors. Story of my life. Oh, there you are. And thread it through the hole and just label it with a number. Tie it to the handle and give it a number like and write it in my little book. I did do a label video. I'll pop that in the description if you want to pop and see how I label all my plants. But yeah, so I shall write the number on there, then I know exactly what potatoes are in there. With the potatoes, we do get quite a few potato blight warnings through the weather app, you know. So yeah, it's quite, we do get it a lot. So a good tip that I read the other day actually was, don't plant your potatoes near tomatoes because of the blight, because the blight always attaches to your potatoes quickly, and then it goes on to your tomatoes. So I'll bear that in mind, and I'll probably, when I do put them outside, put them around the other side of the house in a different garden, just to help a little bit. I know it's airborne, but it could help a little bit, and I'm going to do that. Anyway, that's me for now. I'm going to carry on planting my Duke of York, and I'll catch up with you in another video. Enjoy your potato growing, everyone, and I'll catch you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.
Why not come and join me on Facebook or Instagram? The link is in the description.